Hello, my name is Koa Halpern, and the title of my performance is Japanese Internment Individual Rights versus Government Responsibilities.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
December 7th, 1941 was not only the date that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, it was also the start of many stellar days for selling papers. Everyone wants to know about our troops fighting for the future of our country. Of course, we Americans did not want to enter World War II. The First World War that we fought took a heavy enough toll, both in morale and in lives lost. We haven't truly recovered from the devastation of the Great Depression either. Yet, what choice did we have after over 2,400 men lost their lives in that terrible Japanese attack? Congress officially declared war the day after Pearl Harbor. It took only 33 minutes to do so. We've been fighting hard ever since. The papers I sell inform me of the war, but they also tell me about Japanese people right here in Colorado. Ever since the entire West Coast was declared a military zone, hundreds of Japanese people have been removed from their homes. I know a kid like me named Herbert Inouye who told me that his family was removed from their California home under armed guard. I feel bad for Herbert, but at the same time I know that even one Japanese person loyal to his native country could threaten the future of America. I really don't know whether the responsibility of the government to keep America safe should overshadow the rights of these Japanese. Adults are panicked. Even people like Dr. Seuss have come out against the Japanese, in large part due to people such as General John L. DeWitt. But our Colorado governor, Ralph Carr, has a very differing viewpoint on the Japanese. General DeWitt, reporting for duty. We are at war because of the actions of the Japanese Empire. Tens of thousands of Japanese aliens populate our West Coast, which is vulnerable to attack. These aliens live close to our air bases, shipyards, and oil refineries. There is no way to determine their loyalty. A Jap, after all, is a Jap. It is a known fact that these aliens are plotting an uprising and spying on American citizens. We, as Americans, need to remove these Japanese to protect our country. Perhaps a few of these Japanese are indeed loyal to the United States, but even a small group of disloyal Japs could sabotage our country's war effort. It is the responsibility of the United States government to keep America safe, regardless of the rights of these Japanese aliens. I've been making every effort to remove the Japanese from our vital West Coast. However, few have voluntarily left the area. Because of this, I supported Executive Order number 9066 and created the Japanese Evacuation Notice, which calls for the relocation of all people of Japanese descent from the West Coast to permanent internment centers. This relocation may be difficult and may result in some hardship for the Japanese, but I feel that it is the only way that America may be kept safe. I thank the President, Congress, and the vast majority of the American people for supporting my efforts. Only Colorado Governor Ralph Carr stands in the way of my vision for America's safety. His initial support of my relocation plan quickly changed to open disapproval. Perhaps, one day, he will see the truth about Japanese aliens. Good morning. My name is Governor Ralph Carr, although I'm sure you already knew that. When I first heard of Executive Order number 9066, I was furious. 2/3 of the people it targets are American citizens, and half have never seen Japan, despite what people like General DeWitt say. At first, the government asked all people of Japanese descent on the West Coast to move inland. As the only governor in the entire West who welcomed this tide of people, many of my fellow Coloradans protested, and some even threatened violence. But I told them, if you harm the Japanese, you must harm me. I was brought up in a small town where I knew the shame of race hatred, and I grew to despise it, because it threatens the happiness of you, and you, and you. Now, however, all of the 110,000 Japanese who remained on the West Coast are being forced into concentration camps. Imagine those families, men, women, and children being forced to live in makeshift barracks, incarcerated behind barbed wire for years. These people are guilty of nothing but their Japanese ancestry. Internment camps are being built in the most desolate parts of the American West. There is, sadly, one in Colorado. It is sickening. My hero, Abraham Lincoln, said that America only functions when the Constitution is followed. This internment is a clear violation of the Constitution. It denies American citizens the rights that are guaranteed to all. If we do not extend humanity's kindness to the Japanese, the entire American system will cease functioning. It is the responsibility of the United States government to protect the rights of these Japanese, to protect the Constitution and the values of America. I am confident that we, the people, Coloradans and all Americans, will overcome this Japanese hysteria and will return to treating everyone in this country as equals. We must have the Constitution's principles to protect for every man, or we shall not have them to protect for any man. A lot has changed in the 72 years since I was a paper boy. Governor Ralph Carr died suddenly on September 22nd, 1950. He left behind 2 children, one of whom had served in the military. After his defense of Japanese Americans, he never regained the political popularity he had at the beginning of the war, but he firmly believed until his death that he had done the right thing, protecting the rights of all Americans. Japanese internment camps rapidly lost support after the discovery of concentration camps in Germany. On December 18, 1944, Japanese people were officially allowed to leave the camps. They returned to their communities, often to find their possessions stolen and their fields in ruin. None of the 110,000 Japanese people interned were ever found to be spies. Even today, the debate between individual liberty and government responsibility continues. 9/11 reignited this debate between personal liberties and homeland security, and America continues to grapple with civil rights for all. To all of those who continue to fight for their rights, Governor Carr once said, "I want to urge upon you, do not become embittered, no matter how great the provocation. It takes years and sometimes generations to wipe out prejudices and ill feelings, but those who believe as I do will carry on the battle for the rights of all men." Thank you.